A little bit.
Yeah.
A little monster.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Delaware Rock and Roll Society is here with the absolute delight of interviewing Magical Mystery. These four characters make up something really great. We're going to call them Delaware's premier Beatles cover band. And bottom line is they don't dress up in any kind of Halloween Beatle costumes. They're bringing the purity of the music and the entertainment. That's who they are naturally. And the big question is, can 3,000 fans be wrong? Last year, I think it was June 26th. Okay. They filled the whole area known as White Clay Creek Park. People were just blown away by their music, by how much they've grown. It started out as a little duo, and it was sweet, but nothing like it is today. If you're seeing this video and you have not been a part of the audience, you're missing out. So get there. Absolutely. Okay. I know Mr. Steve Nardo. He, has been making music for a while. Okay. What was your first band?
Oh, 1910 Fruit Gum Company. I was 15 years old. That's what you call it.
It wasn't in the Alps.
And, just a bunch of high school kids.
Yeah. Who were they?
Back then it was Scott Gardner on lead guitar, Jackie Stepchuk on drums, Andy Smith on bass and vocals, and me on rhythm guitar and vocals.
Okay. Are any of them still at it?
I think Scott might still be playing. He's living up in Maine.
Okay.
Last I heard, he was still playing.
Okay.
Last I heard, he was still playing.
Gotcha. Hard for us to run up and check out a concert.
Yes.
Yeah. Got it. Got it. Absolutely. Now, where'd you go to high school?
Newark High School.
I knew that.
1971.
That's what I was going to ask next. When did you graduate? What band were you playing with then when you graduated?
Good question.
Well, were you playing with in that area?
Yeah, the same guys. It's pretty much the same guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then after high school, you get out of high school, you meet different people, different walks of life, and then you start hooking up with different guys.
Yeah.
High school's you're familiar with the guys, and that's why you're in the band.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, you grow a little bit.
Okay. And who were some of those guys?
Oh, well, my brother, Ricky.
Yes.
Mark Carney on lead guitar. Fred Dawson on Hammond.
Oh, my goodness. Fred Dawson.
Jackie Stepchuk was still our drummer. Joey Lasorte, which became Do Miami, which was the band that really took off.
Mm-hmm. And
that was in the late 70s.
That was the band with the famous shirt.
Yeah, we
the waist and the big medallion.
We were an agent-driven band that got us work. We had to dress alike.
Disco City.
Disco all the way. But I'll tell you what, the money was there.
Wow.
We worked 5 to 7 nights every week.
Oh, my goodness.
Every week.
Oh, my goodness.
Never. The only one-nighters you did there was an agent called Bill Diamond, campus booking, and he would book you on campuses, different campuses, Penn State, Princeton, New Jersey. But they were all one-nighters, but they were just fill-in gigs for us.
Okay.
We basically were a full-time band at that time.
That's crazy. And you guys were like 18, 19?
22, 23.
Okay.
24. I had babies at home.
Oh, all right.
And it was basically a money-making band.
Hey,
It wasn't about the music back then. It was about making money.
Yes. And you still have to please the audience. So it was
Yes, and we
somewhat
did.
about
We
music.
sold out to disco.
Hey.
No.
Yeah.
A lot of bands didn't, and a lot of bands didn't work back then because of that.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. And all the old people were doing the disco stuff too,
Yes.
which gave you a broader
Well, that was
audience.
back in Larry Tucker day.
Yes.
We all were in that same circuit,
Yeah.
just passing through every week.
Cool. And still making music. That
Still
was
making.
important. And I know you mentioned Rick was in your band, or maybe you were in his band. Your brother.
He was in, I guess he joined the band that I was in right before Do Miami formed.
Okay.
And then he joined up the band. That's when Do Miami started.
Got ya.
We were waiting for Joe Lasort. He was in a band. And we really wanted him as our guitar player, but he was playing in a band at the time called Fast Eddie with some Wilmington guys. Tony Capella.
Still at it.
Tony Ross. Who else is in that band? Great band. Rudy Rubini,
Oh, yes.
whose niece was just on The Voice.
Yes.
Olivia, I
Yes.
think her name is.
Mhm.
And then we were together for about 7 or 8 years. We had a good run.
Nice.
We had a good run.
Now, I know your dad was a barber. You know, you came through that. It was the family barber shop
Yes.
up in Fairfield,
Yes.
Fairfield Crest, right up there.
Yes.
And so you still manage to do that. I think you probably still take care of a few fancy people who
I
like
do,
their hair
but-
done.
Back then, we were working, like I said, average of 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
I would drive to Pemberton, New Jersey. I'd work at the barbershop all day, drive, play a 5-hour gig,
Holy mackerel.
get home, maybe get a couple hours sleep, wake up with the same thing the next day. Same thing.
It's crazy.
I couldn't do that right now.
No.
Nor would I want to.
Right. Right.
Like been there, done that kind of thing.
Different time in your life.
But it paid the bills, man.
Okay. Now I know you guys both play guitar. What else do you play?
I played bass.
Okay.
Dabbled a little bit in, before any of the guitars, I was a sax player.
Really?
I grew up playing sax.
Oh, my
And a pretty good
goodness.
sax player at that.
Oh, right.
And then the Beatles came along.
Mhm.
Bye-bye sax.
That changed a lot of
And that's, if I can say one thing, musically, that's probably the one regret I have in my life about playing music.
You didn't stay with
Was
the
I
sax?
gave up the sax.
Yeah.
Should have never given it up. Yeah.
Wow.
I still regret that till today.
Well, who taught you?
My first music teacher was Mr. Wilder.
Oh,
Do you remember
in
Mr.
high
Wilder?
school. Yes.
And what a great guy. He was also a piano tuner. He used to come to our house when I was a kid and tune our piano.
So you had pianos in the house. Did your parents
Always
play?
a piano. My dad was a musician, violinist,
Wow.
bass, piano, organ.
You were so lucky.
I was lucky. My two biggest influences were my dad and my brother, music.
Oh man. Wow. That's really cool. Who do you admire as far as a performer? I'm going to ask you both locally.
Professionally or,
professionally, you know, I don't know.
Locally, these guys right here.
Perfect answer. You do still have to pay.
Oh, we do.
Locally, and I'm not just saying this just to say this, but this band, I played in disco bands, I played in original bands, I played in rock and roll bands, I played in cover bands, I played in classic rock bands.
Right.
And I got to the point where I just had enough. You know, I just wanted to do something that was for me and not for everybody else.
Yes.
And that's when me and Jeff, we had been in a band and the band was breaking up. And I said, would you guys, I looked at him and Steve Boltowski, who was our drummer at that time. And I said, would you guys want to do a Beatle acoustic act?
Mm-hmm.
They jumped right on board.
Wow.
Now I knew that I was going to get into something I really, really wanted to do before I wasn't playing music.
Right. Right.
And that's when that's
ta-da.
the beginning of Magical Mystery.
Wow.
Early 2011. But this is the band that I admire right now.
Yeah. That's wonderful
sure.
to be able to say that.
To be able to share the stage with these three talented guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm old enough to be their father, probably his grandfather. Just, he's what, Dan's like 30, just turned 30, 31. 35. Oh, 35.
But
Well,
who's counting?
Okay.
I feel 26.
Oh, man.
but who are some of the guys I admire professionally?
Mm-hmm.
A band called Level 42.
Okay. Where they, the English teacher would die, the Stangling preposition, but where are they out of?
I think they're out of England.
Okay.
There's a band called Dirty Loops that are out of Sweden.
Okay.
One of my favorite bands today.
Okay.
Steely Dan going back. Chicago.
Yeah.
They were my influences.
Yeah. All those horns in Chicago.
Toto.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, when you look at Toto's band, some of the greatest musicians around, they were the best studio musicians anywhere.
Wow.
You know, you look around and see that some of the, especially the drummer who passed away, Jeff Bolcaro.
Mm-hmm.
Look at some of his credits. Who's he recorded with? Everyone.
Well, who's the most famous person you have met?
Pete Best.
Oh, okay.
Pete Best. Our band opened up for his band at the Logan House.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
At the time, we were the opening act.
Yeah.
And I got to meet him. I got to meet the band with a bunch of cool guys. Couldn't really understand them, that Liverpool accent. But really cool guys.
Yeah, they had trouble with that even in other parts of England.
I'm sure.
You know? Yeah.
I'm sure. Very Cockney. Very.
Yeah. 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 It's like us pulling folks out of New Orleans. Yeah. 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 Same thing. Is there an instrument you would still like to play?
Piano.
Okay. You need to think about it.
Piano.
Really, you need to think about it because you have the talent. There are people who would love to hear it. And you guys, you know, we'll all work together. So, yeah, don't leave anything unfinished.
Never leave it on.
Yeah, I know you don't. I know you don't. Well, let's see. Jeff?
Yes.
Yeah, let's hear some of your stories.
Okay.
Okay. Who taught you?
Taught me, well, probably my family. I come from a musical family.
Oh, wow.
My parents are both musicians and singers, and my brothers and sisters are all singers and musicians, and
Oh, wow.
they just grew up in it.
Mm-hmm. Now, what were they doing as far as singers and musicians? Where did they sing?
My dad was, he grew up on a farm, actually.
Yeah.
And, they were very religious. They grew up in church and singing in church.
Okay.
And, Southern gospel music and Southern gospel quartets like Gaither Folk Band, cathedrals, and all
Wow.
these things. So that was kind of always around. Singing was mostly really what was always around. And, he used to have us all kind of singing and teaching us harmony and stuff like around the dinner table and stuff.
Yeah.
There's
That's cool.
4 kids in my family. So my brother is the oldest, and he's I don't know, 8 years. How old is he? 8 years older than me or something? 6 years older than me. Yeah, and he was a guitar player, and then my sister was like learning how to play piano, and then I was like, you know, the little kid, and they're like, "You play drums," you know. So I was like, "So we can have a band," and we had like a little kids band, you know. That kind of stuff.
Cool.
So we all just kind of grew up around it, and everybody had to play something.
Yeah, it was your life.
Yeah.
It was what people did.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. Now, who was the first band?
First band I was in was called Setter Kane. I don't even know what that means.
Names for a dog?
I don't know what
Setter?
it is. We were like I don't know, 7th and 8th grade probably.
Okay.
And
Did they let you play at school? Did you do any?
no, I played in the jazz band and stuff at school and like orchestra and all that stuff. I was a drummer at that point. I played the drums, so I didn't play
Right.
guitar at that point. that was probably the first band I was in. And my brother had guitars, so I started playing his guitars, and like I could pick up a couple chords and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then like nobody played the drums other than me, so I was like, we found my friend who was like one of our 4 friends. I was like, you're gonna play bass because we both play guitar, and he
Right.
can already play guitar, and you don't know. We're gonna teach you how to play drums. Like you can play drums.
I love
So we
it.
just taught everybody. Just made it up as we went along, and then that was it. That was the first band.
Wow.
So that was the first band to play guitar. I should say.
Okay. And where were you in high school?
I went to Christiana High School.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I graduated in '97.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. That's where I met my wife, my lovely wife.
Oh, you lucky thing.
Yeah.
He is lovely. Yeah. Lucky thing. Absolutely. So who were the other band members then?
My friend Rob Kahn, these are guys who literally lived around the corner from me, so we could all walk to each other's house. My friend Zach Sammons, who, I haven't spoken to any of these guys for probably 25, 30 years at this point,
Okay.
Rob Kahn, he played drums. Zach Sammons played guitar.
Any relation? Sammons?
No, Sammons, yeah. And then my friend Joe Tucker played bass, and we were friends for a while. After that, we went to the same high school, so everybody else sort of moved away and went to different schools.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Once this is out, you need to let them know that they're famous.
I'm
can-
somebody, guys.
Yeah, you guys can reconnect and yeah, have some laughs. You talk about that really good looking teacher, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's important when you're in junior high school and heading into high school, or so it seems to me.
Yeah.
Okay, now, have you done any original things? Have you written anything?
Yeah, I write music all the time. That's kind of what I do most of anything.
Okay.
And then,
Are you guys playing any of it?
no,
No?
it's tough to be an original band in the scene these days, but trying to do it because you have to, not because you want to, really.
Okay.
So, I've done a lot of original bands over the years. I was in a band called Mothers McGillicuddy. That was back in like 2000 or so, and we had a big following in that time. It's pretty good. That was a bigger band.
And like about what year was that?
About 99, 2000.
Okay.
And we were playing the same kind of thing. We were playing every night of the week somewhere up and down Main Street. And,
Yeah.
had a bunch of friends that everybody in that band had like friends in different friend groups that all knew each other.
Yeah.
And through some third party connection or something, so it just became a scene, and everybody was kind of like showing up like, oh, this is fun. It was less about us than it was about the party. Everybody was there and we all knew each other.
How about that? Jeff had his own scene.
Yeah.
This is
We
cool.
did. People knew us back then.
That's cool. That's really fun. Who do you acknowledge locally? Anybody who's really good?
Lots of people are really good.
It's just kind of nice every once in a while for the local people to hear.
I like What the Funk a lot. I think they're great.
Yeah.
I always like Montana Wild Acts. They're not playing as much anymore, but they're still awesome. We used to sneak into the East End to see them play when we were in high school,
Yeah, they need to show up in the Delaware Rock and Roll Society
absolutely.
eventually.
Yes, they
They're awesome. They should be there. Nick Bucci obviously is a great guitar player. Sean Casani's an amazing guitar player. There's a lot of good musicians around here. You still got Johnny Neal around, Lindsey Lee,
Tony Ventura.
Oh my goodness, Nancy Lee, yes.
A lot of great musicians. There's so many great musicians around here. It's amazing when you really dig into it, how many really impressive players,
Oh yeah.
impressive musicians there are. Yeah, Tommy Ellis, Sin City Band, all those guys.
Oh yes, yes. Anybody in your family still performing?
Me and my brother were in a barbershop quartet together for 25 years or so.
That is so cool.
And we just stopped. Well, we had to stop doing it. are still doing it, I guess.
Didn't I just do a Skittle award?
Yeah, we just won this thing.
We win champions.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Tell
we
her what
won.
You're the champion of.
We are. We won this this worldwide barbershop quartet competition and
What?
World love.
in
Yeah.
Dallas, Texas this year. That was cool.
Yeah,
Yes.
crazy.
And so that was fun. But I've been doing that. That was a result of my father, who was in the Southern Gospel quartets and everything. And then he got involved with barbershop and then started teaching us how to harmonize around the dinner table. And then it's just a matter of like, we got hooked on it one year, seeing like a really good group. And we were like, what? Like, you can do that? Like, that's not what I thought it was, you know?
Right.
Which people probably wouldn't recognize it. If you heard it today, you'd be like, that's barbershop? I didn't know that, you know? But so
That's cool. Who do you admire?
I'm into like,
We hit the locals, so
I would say I'm into like the Grateful Dead and Fish and Mahavishnu Orchestra, Pat Metheny, Al Di Meola,
okay.
fusion, jazz fusion and improvised music a
And
lot.
a bit of sophistication.
And the Beatles, obviously.
Obviously.
But yeah, a lot of improvised music and kind of like improvisation and
And-
jazz. And
Yeah. And there anybody you have met who impressed the heck out of you? The barbershop number 2.
yeah,
Yeah.
no. I've met all them. I don't know who I've met that's famous. We did meet Al Di Meola once, very briefly.
Cool.
About the most famous person I've ever met. We
Cool.
met Dirty Loops. We went to see them every
Yeah. That's from Devin. You guys are going to
wait
get
in
the
line.
autograph and they handcuffed you.
Yeah. They're like, excuse me, ladies.
Hey, you gotta
can't
wait
just
in
cut
line."
the line here.
Oh, jeez. You had to try.
Yeah.
Right. You had to try. Oh, my goodness. Well, what do you think creates the magic that you guys see?
I think it's this is a very special situation because it's hard to keep a band together. As anybody who's been in a band will tell you. And this has been when we started this, I don't think we ever even thought that this would be like become what it has become.
No.
Right.
Just because it's like we never really tried to push to make it anything. We never really tried to make it something. We were just happy doing what we were doing, and it was like the next day it was like, oh well, yeah, if we got a good percussionist, that would be great. Yeah, okay, here we go. And then it was like, I don't want to play percussion. I'd rather play the drums. And it's like, well, I guess we need a bass player. And it just kind of everything sort of just happened organically. But there's never a vibe in this band that is negative. There's no negativity in this band. There's no egos in this band.
That's the magic.
There's no
Competitiveness.
there's no competitiveness. None of that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's-
the love of the Beatles. Dude.
Yeah, and it's all about the fun and the music and the joy that we're bringing to people who love it, which is a lot of people, and it's just a lot of fun. So you just can't not love it, and that makes it special because as long as we keep focused on that, it doesn't matter,
Gotcha.
Everything's just
Gotcha.
Yeah,
If
Now,
somebody would have told me at Jeff 14 years ago
this was going to
that
happen.
you're going to be playing at White Clay Creek for 3,000 people,
right.
Mhm.
I would have said, that's never going to happen.
Right.
It's never going to happen.
You're dreaming.
Most of the
Yeah.
places we used to play don't even exist anymore.
There you go. You outlived them.
We outlived them.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, well, the most recent member of the band, right?
He's right. Yeah.
The most recent.
Still the new guy.
Always
Always
the
the new guy.
guy.
Yeah.
And the young guy.
The
Where'd you go?
baby of the family.
Where'd you go to high school? When'd you graduate?
I went to charter school in Wilmington. I graduated in 2006.
Okay.
Yeah.
Charter school. What the heck was a charter school when we were kids? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's a relatively new thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wilmington High, right?
Yeah, it was Wilmington High. Yeah. Cap Calloway. Shared a building. So
Oh, okay.
it was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I know I
Yeah.
know what we're talking about. Absolutely. Who taught you?
I came kind of from a whole family of like frustrated non-musicians, like people that loved music but just never really played music. So
Mhm.
I was taught by, my mom and dad, and their taste in music was excellent, a lot of my family. And then I was just lucky enough to kind of be gifted with instruments, like I got my first little toy electric guitar when I was maybe 3 or 4 years old. And that's like just what I did, so I taught myself, and obviously, I've been taught by a whole, tradition of great music, but it was mostly just the support that I got from a young age, because I just went right to it.
Yeah, it was calling you.
Yeah.
What kind of music did your parents listen to?
Oh, they were very much like classic rock oriented, but some of the cooler stuff too, like David Bowie and like Lou Reed.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Southern rock, and so it was just an interesting mix. You know what I mean? Kind of coming up through that, a lot of old soul music, stuff like that. So this was something that always like. One of my first memories, just sitting in like my aunt's basement, and she had an 8-track machine.
Oh,
and it was like, that was all set up. So it's like, oh, what's this? And you're looking at the cover art, it's all faded, and like you just plug the tape in, and you just, to me, it like took me away to another world, and it's never stopped doing that. It's like, every time I pick up a guitar, play music, it's like I'm back in that childlike state of just like, oh, there's possibilities are endless, man. Like everything is cool.
And you're right.
So that's pretty much it. It's just magic. And I was lucky enough, I think, for me to, I had the opportunity from a young age to kind of grow with an instrument, like guitar, and I just never really stopped.
Gotcha. Anything else you want to play?
I would love to. My dream instrument is like a pedal steel.
Oh yeah.
To me, that's like one of the most beautiful sounding instruments, and I don't even know where to find one. I wouldn't know how to set it up or anything, But
you need to talk to our friend Tommy.
Yeah,
Tommy Epps will hook you up.
Yeah, exactly. Tommy Epps played with us back at the country club, right? And it's incredible, But that sound to me is like it's
haunting.
It is, yeah. It's like this
Full of emotion.
right, yeah. Just the amount of feeling you put in the notes that way. It's pretty cool. Pretty special.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. So, who have you met?
Like musically, like famous people.
Mhm.
I don't know that I've really met anyone that's like would be considered famous.
Okay.
I think I ran into Wayne Coyne from the Flaming Lips. He's famous in some circles. You know what I mean? Outside one of his shows, but I can't say I've really met anybody that's that people would recognize. And that's okay because everybody's I feel like it would just be a disappointment anyway. Like you're just a regular person. You play music and you might be an asshole. Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
First. Yeah. We can strike that from the record.
Don't play that again.
What's the best story that you've heard about this gang or had with this gang? Funny or just crazy or really great?
Wow. That is such a good question.
Pick a story.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite story is, it shall not be named. There was a club down in Middletown. We played there one time.
They're gone already. I love
And,
it.
we were booked for it was a nice 3-hour engagement. We got in and it was a pretty nice room. And it was pretty busy. Now it's one of those places where the stage is right in front of the bar, you know, and we're not an easy listening band. Like we play the Beatles music and I know everybody loves it, but there's a certain amount of volume and a certain amount of emotion that has to be there. So about halfway through our first set, I guess the club manager came and said, "Could you turn down?" And we turned down, but even about the second song. And then, we're watching most of the people we had brought, it was mostly our people there.
If you tell a band to turn down, they're going to be
You're right. Don't do it. Club owners, don't do it. We're going to keep people in your establishment for way longer than they otherwise would have been. And we're going to make you a lot of money. The second time they told us to turn down, my man Jeffrey was like, you know what? We'll turn down. We'll turn off. We're out. And this was maybe it was early in my career with the band. It was maybe the fourth or fifth show.
I remember looking at Dan and saying, Watch this.
But we all felt it. We all felt it. We were
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
multiple
five-
times
five-
for the
five-
record.
She's telling
They were
Jeff
right.
to turn down not once but twice. Watch what happens.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a beautiful thing. And
That was a great story.
that
I
was
yanked
it.
all the cables out of the speakers and
Don't
stormed
get
off in a huff.
Yep. So let it be less. Don't tell this man to turn down.
That's
He's
right. That was pretty
We'll hit
epic.
the road. Good luck.
They're out of business now.
Yeah.
for the record.
Yeah.
And we're the
this
biggest
club,
after
yeah,
that.
playing at
it was
the-
actually a
like
couple months after. I would like to think that, we played a small part in that.
That's right. I think that too.
So, yeah.
You let them know who's in charge.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. What was the biggest challenge coming in as the new guy?
Yeah, for me, it was, I was never a bass player before. I played bass guitar.
Oh, it's the same routine you had. There were 4 kids in the neighborhood and you needed a bass
gotta do
player.
something,
So
gotta
there
do
you
something.
go.
And that was it. And I literally, I was
Plug it
at there's a, like a barber shop in Pike Creek. And I was just sitting there, getting my hair cut. And Steve was there. And I knew Steve through a couple buddies like Dave and Lindsay Lee. And I was like, hey, Steve, what's up, man? And he was just like, hey, I'm looking for a bass player for this band I got. We play Beatles music. And I was like, well, that sounds pretty cool. I love the Beatles. And
You weren't
I
busy at the time.
yeah, and I was kind of had like a nice little lull in my musical schedule. So I was like, yeah, let's go. But it's a challenge because I'm used to playing 6 strings and the bass is a different thing. It's more rhythmic and it's more of a feel thing. So, that's it. Just kind of learning how to,
He's a natural.
how to kind of function on a different instrument. It's
He
been a lot
brought
of
the
fun.
band
It's
to
been
a
very-
whole new level.
I agree.
He brought it to a whole new
I
level.
agree. I agree.
His
Yeah, I saw
energy.
that.
You guys got more energy than 3 people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I knew that.
to look at.
I knew that.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
not hard on the
Yeah.
eyes.
I knew
You're
Dan
awfully
from
good-looking
playing
yourself.
with Jeff in another band. They were in a band together,
Oh, okay.
or played with other guys, with the same guy.
Yeah, we've had a
Okay.
lot of me and Jeff especially have had a lot of
with Dave Lee,
same bandmates.
Yeah, Dave.
different
And
bands
I
over the years.
I knew this kid had talent. I said,
Yeah.
you know what? I know as good as he is, he would be able to play bass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there you
So
go.
yeah, and picking it up, it was fun and it came naturally. The first couple of practices, the first couple, gigs it was a struggle, but now it's a little easier.
The
But
first
really-
gig wasn't even.
That's when it all came together.
It was a different drummer.
Yeah.
But yeah, and another thing I would say that, it's like learning the intricacies of the harmonies, because the Beatles, they're nothing if not, their harmonies are such a big part of their sound. So
Mhm.
to be able to work with, Jeff and Steve and Justin too,
Yep.
and make that,
Sometimes.
it's such a central part of the sound. That's a beautiful thing, to
Yeah.
be able to achieve that and work on that. And when you hear it, it takes a song, it takes a basic arrangement and it just lifts it all the way up, so that's a challenge too, but that's probably the most rewarding thing for me is to hear just the way human voices can interact
Yeah.
and make that sound that kind of just takes
That's
your breath away.
That's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing. I'm listening to the love of music rolling out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And
Who
the
were
harmony.
the bands you were involved with?
My first major band was called Stone City. And that was back in like my high school days.
Was that Stone or Stone?
Stone?
Okay.
Yeah, with no
Just
D.
double check.
We might have been stoned, but yeah, there was no D in the name. I also didn't realize that was also the name of Rick James's backing band. So yeah,
Oh, wow.
Rick James, yeah. So we didn't know that at the time, but yeah. And that was me and my buddy Phil Stanley, and we had Matt Zuko, Rennie Kane, and a bunch of different members. And it was just a very much like me and Phil kind of met each other at a special time. We were both really serious about being like lead guitar players. So we
Yeah.
kind of were able to sculpt the sound where our lead guitar kind of intertwined.
Yeah.
And we were really into the same kind of songwriters, a lot of 60s,
Yeah.
long form kind of jam oriented music, but with tight song structures. So that was a cool band. And since then I've been in a few, other projects, Still Moon was Dave Lee and, my buddy Lance Mitchell for a lot of years. And now currently it's Bright Corners, so yeah, always original music has always been part of
Who's
my
in
life.
Bright Corners?
So it's my buddy Chris Radbill, and he's been with me now for probably almost 10 years, on second guitar. My buddy Barrett May on drums. We just like to get together, write songs. We're trying to record as much as possible
Mhm.
and just kind of nurture that part, just
Yeah.
kind of keep that flowing.
Yeah. And then there's Ringo.
The man of the
Yeah,
hour.
the man. The man in the hat.
Try to be
The
like
fashion
Ringo.
plate of the band right there.
The fashion plate?
Haberdasher.
The haberdashery.
Haberdashery.
Look at
Yes.
the socks and the shirt. I mean, it all matches.
Hey.
Yes. Yes. Socks and shirt all matches. It's just a classy thing.
You're gonna go out, you know.
Yes, you're going to look fine.
Summertime's difficult though.
That's true. You have to wear less.
I wear summertime hats and capris.
Okay, capris.
New wardrobe coming soon.
Oh, Jesus.
Capris.
We're gonna have a whole line. There's gonna be
Yeah.
a fashion line based on these.
Clients coming out in the summertime.
You know, I actually have a question down here that says, who's the most particular about their clothes?
Oh, that's the
Yeah,
easy question.
there
We
you
can get that
are.
one right out of the way.
There you are. There you are.
Yeah.
And who do the ladies like? Okay.
I think
They swoon.
I think they swoon over
They
everything.
They swoon.
I think actually Steve's got a lot of swooning going on as well.
Yes.
Well, the 70s and up.
It's all. I mean,
What we're trying to do
they
is
have favorites,
capture.
but I think everybody.
It's a generational thing. It's a multi-generational.
Come on, there were ladies that liked Ringo. Come on.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Somebody like George.
They like
There was
somebody-
George has favorites.
Absolutely.
Somebody has
There you go.
taste,
So
you know.
he's the George guy. Okay.
The discerning folks will.
Yeah, they're all in for something different.
Oh, okay.
He's
Okay,
getting
got
off
it.
the rails. Rails.
Who are your bands?
Growing up, I latched up onto at high school a guy named Marty West, and me and him. Usually, I lock on to guitar players because I'm a drummer and I don't write music.
Right.
So you got to make sure you have a good guitar player that writes good music. So
Mhm.
first guy was in high school, and I was with him for many years, living with, working with, and being in a band with, coming home late nights, playing late night,
Oh, man.
and actually crossed paths with Jeff and stuff like that. I went to Elkton High School, and he was over at Christiana, but our worlds were so close that they would kind of collide sometimes. And same parties our bands would play in, we didn't really know, but
Right.
names go from Electric Church to Porcelain Mary.
Oh, jeez.
There's band names.
Porcelain Mary was good.
Same guitar players, some of the same musicians, but yeah.
Who taught you?
Mars Music, Elkton, Maryland,
Yeah.
Big Elk Mall.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't remember
The Mars Brothers.
the gentleman's name, but before I go into everybody who's taught me, I'll say that everybody I see playing drums teaches me something.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own style, but learning how to play, private lessons, and then once I joined the marching band for a girl that was in the drum line, my buddies finally got me to join the drum line because there was a girl. Who's that? She's in the drum line. Oh, I'm going to be in the drum line then. So once I got into the drum line, I developed this passion for marching percussion, and that took me to drum and bugle corps. I did drum and bugle corps way more years than I should have. Junior corps.
Yeah, if you were enjoying it. No, it's not.
Yeah, well, you can only do it until you're 21 in junior corps, and then took a couple of years off, got back to the bands and back to the playing. I sacrificed a lot of my time with bands for doing that whole thing. And once that was over, I tried to dive back into the whole
We played together for
band
years.
thing, and then I went again and joined the Marines again.
Okay.
So I left that, but I'm still pursuing the marching percussion thing. And I was in the.
Did you play in the Marines?
I actually joined the Marines as a equipment mechanic, a heavy equipment mechanic.
Yeah.
But after about 5 years, I saw an opportunity with the Marines that would take me a lot of places. It was with the Commandant Zone, the United States Marine Joint and Bugle Corps. That's a mouthful to say. So up on Capitol Hill, I moved up there. I didn't move up there, but that was my duty station. I drove for 4 years from Wilmington to Washington every day
Oh
up
my
on Capitol
goodness.
Hill. It took years off my life, money out of my bank account. But it was cool. We traveled all over the world. I played for embassies and presidents, vice presidents, dignitaries. We put on Iwo Jima. I played, France, Guam, Hawaii, Canada.
Amazing.
We played everywhere.
Oh,
That's where I got
amazing.
my chops from, so to say. But
You definitely picked up an amazing crew here. Just an amazing.
We all
They're
have
my
our,
Sopranos. What can
we
I
have our
say?
specialties. We have our specialties.
That's our Don, right?
Hey, yes. You got it. Why the Beatles?
My dad, my mom were big Beatles fans,
Yeah.
so they were definitely the first band.
Mhm.
I can remember as a kid going to the library and renting a movie and renting the Yellow Submarine and Help, and those were all in the library. And I grew up on those movies.
Yeah.
My dad had all the vinyl. He had my favorite album was Rubber Soul,
Mine too.
but it was so close to one of the heaters and it developed a big warp on the record. So I could only play side A. Because side B would have a big bump on it. It would hit the arm every time. So I could only play. It would still wobble. It would still play. So once I got a tape of it, I could listen to the whole thing. But I mean, I wasn't a Stones fan. So that's probably the number one.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't a Stones guy. And the Beatles just seemed so loving and family and it seemed the perfect fit. They have the perfect catalog from early stuff to the psychedelic stuff. So
Yeah. Amazing. Now, you guys decided on Beatles for the band specifically just because you love them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I said, when Jeff said earlier that we never saw this growing into a full band,
Right.
electric guitars, whole bit. But I think what makes this band unique is each guy is a lead singer.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
There's not
Thank
one guy
you for
singing
saying
lead.
that.
There's not one guy singing.
Right.
Everybody sings, even him.
It depends on,
Yeah,
he does a good job.
And he does a great job.
Yes.
But I don't think, I don't think Justin ever really sang before he sang with this band.
just in the car,
The drum. Yeah.
in the Jeep,
Well,
in the shower.
who do you think you sound like?
I mean, probably somebody you can't sing that well. Ringo, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot different singing in the car and singing in front of right now than it is playing drums for me. I think I can sing really well when I'm not playing drums, but when I play drums, it's a different story.
That is one of the hardest things to do.
It's adding a fifth limb. is what it
Yes.
is.
Yes. Two.
And like what Dan just said, one of the hardest things to do. Second hardest thing to do, in my opinion, that's why I wanted him in the band, is to play Paul McCartney bass lines
Oh.
and sing lead at the same time.
Oh my goodness.
I
yes.
wasn't capable of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I knew I had to go to rhythm guitar and hopefully get a bass player that could do it.
Yeah.
And there's the guy right there.
I hear grimaces about those lines
Oh my God.
all the time. All the time.
Yeah, it's just the melodic stuff, but
Very melodic, but it never went with the what's the word I'm looking for? The melody of what he was singing.
Right.
So it was two different things happening at the same time. It's like I can't chew gum and walk at the same time.
Gotcha.
He can't.
What's your favorite Beatles song?
my favorite Beatles song would be the Abbey Road Suite. It's multiple songs. It's
Okay.
kind of cheating, but it's the whole second
Mr.
half of that
Mustard?
record. Yeah.
Polythene fan.
Yeah.
After them go.
How about you? One or two. There might be a couple.
Probably has to be something on Sgt. Pepper. Even though they're not really famous songs, it's probably like I'm Fixing a Hole or maybe Here Comes the Sun.
Yeah.
One of those ones that's obscure that never gets played, but it's still like
Mm-hmm.
they can't replicate this. Like we can't do this. How can we do this one?
Who do you think you sound like? Not even necessarily Beatles. Who do you think you sound like?
Me.
Okay.
I thought, yeah. Playing instrument wise or voice wise?
Voice.
Me.
Okay.
I really never try to sound like someone,
Mm-hmm. Or saw yourself as
but I just try to do the best I can when I'm singing a song by whoever I'm singing it.
right.
I don't want to sound like Lennon or McCartney. I just
Right.
want to do my best version of the song
Right.
through my vocal build.
Gotcha.
And there are a couple songs that Steve does, I think, vocally, that are always highlights of our set, like the way he does Imagine,
Mm-hmm.
the way he does Baby It's You, which is almost like a doo-wop song.
Yes.
And we play those songs, and it feels like it's just as much Steve's song as it was. You know, it's like we're
Can't do
playing
that.
for him.
He's
You know,
sassy.
it's cool.
He's sassy.
Yeah, but when we do Baby It's You,
Can't.
Yeah, he does get sassy.
and these guys hit the harmonies,
Yes.
I get chills. And I make sure I look at them, get eye contact, because I want to let them know that
It's
that
so
is it right
fun.
there. It does get
Yes.
back.
Wow.
And my two favorite Beatles songs that we do,
Yeah.
Here, There, and Everywhere,
hmm
and My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Yeah. You guys began as 2, you're now 4. The amount of sophistication that you bring with the 4 of you is incredible. The willingness that you have to not make anything an issue, okay, is a very, very precious gift. George and I have, hopped in here and there, to hear you. And, we were over at the Blue Crab recently, and you guys were, jamming, which is a step away from the conventional Beatles thing. You're
Right.
not, you're beginning to, or you have begun to add, jamming,
Our own little thing.
yeah, your own little flavor, doing some riffs, and, you guys just took off, and the audience was absolutely silent. It wasn't, oh yeah, the band is playing, so I'll talk a little quiet. It was boom. Listen to that. Listen to that. It was masterful. And between the affection that you guys have for each other, the dedication that you have, the integrity that you have as people, okay, you're going to take all of this ripeness of your talent, and your audience is going to stay forever. It's going to stay forever. I'm telling you, they'll be coming in with walkers. You know?
already are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
you
already
said.
are.
I was thinking it, but
They already are. The Delaware Rock and Roll Society is going to continue being here, being your audience. I'm so thrilled to have you, in our induction show. It's going to be over the top wonderful. And keep, while my guitar gently weeps, because it was just so fine. You guys are keeping music alive. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.